Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight on this wintry December evening, the first day of the year I've had to scrape ice off my windshield, and it was absolutely bloody awful. But here we are. We've made it through to this evening, and what an evening to sit around the campfire, as it were. We've got Richard Haynes of Rexel, and we were just talking 30 seconds before we started letting everyone into the room. And Richard, what's the feedback we've received so far? Are members excited? Are members enjoying it? Well, we're hoping to get some of that feedback tonight. But what I was just about to say before we went live was that I actually think that Rexel is probably one of the biggest partners that we've launched with in, I would say over a year now. Gone are the days of launching a brand new massive national partner every other week. We've pretty much plugged all the gaps that we need to plug with LNPG, and there's small ones and there's additional ones and there's cherries on top all the time for the membership. But something like a national electrical wholesaler, I'd say the partner that we'd launched with that was kind of equivalent before this most recently would have been AO, and that was 2 years ago, 18 months, 2 years ago. So in my opinion, at least, members are very excited for it. And hopefully we'll get some confirmation, or indeed some whatever the opposite of confirmation is of that tonight. Now I should have said
we don't need to know.
No, well, look, that's not what we're here for. If we needed it, this isn't Dictionary Club. This is LNPG. But thanks for bailing me out there, mate. So just so everyone's aware, we do say this every week, but let's start off by saying this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is being live streamed on our Facebook group. So if you don't want to be recorded or added to the LNPG website after the fact, then feel free to anonymize your name, turn off your camera, or indeed jump over to the Facebook group where this is being streamed live. I also noticed now that we've been joined by Nick Watchorn himself. He's jumped into the room. How's it going, Nick?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I've just been dealing with a couple of issues on social media.
All right.
Johnston's paint.
Fine. Well, look, as long as it's not Rexel related, we should be fine.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So look,
Richard, how are you?
I'm very well, Nick. I'm very well. My budding new golf partner.
Yes. And we beat them. Just to
1 for 1. What can you say?
Yeah.
I think we're in the wrong business, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was a few quid up that day.
Not for me.
No.
We've been going, 11 years now, Nick, and you've still not cottoned on to the fact that they always let the customer win.
Oh, no. Let me tell you something. Richard and his partner were trying to do everything they could to beat us.
Well, no.
Richard, you played well. It was your co-partner.
You was my partner, so I was happy to do everything we can to win.
Yeah. We won. That's what I was interested in. Anyway,
Yes.
We were in a meeting, talking about Rexel, our new partner.
We are indeed. So, Richard, I mean, now's probably a good time to introduce yourself. You've popped up 2 or 3 times here, but no one knows who you are. So you're there in a Rexel branch today. Rexel HQ for LNPG members, as far as we're concerned.
Central hub for Rexel, here in Leicester. I'm Rich Haynes. I'm the manager of this business here. Do you want me to pop the slides on so we can get going?
You can do.
Yeah. Richard is a branch manager, okay, and to make sure that we get the pricing controlled, because there are so many different products in the industry, we've got a basket of goods, and we think we've covered the majority of what landlords are going to want. These are trade products. These are not retail products. So they're professional products that electricians buy, okay? So I really want to make that quite clear. This isn't the cheap end of the market. This is professional trade products that are going to fit for purpose, that are going to last you, and they've got good warranties on them, okay? I just need to make that quite clear.
I think we'll be talking about that in a little while, but you're dead right, Nick. And that, the reason that we've got a central hub, the reason that we're going through Leicester isn't any kind of geographical arrangement. It's so that we can ensure that all members get the same service. All members are getting Rich and his team's advice on products in price, and if something sticks out, it's gonna look like a sore thumb to Rich and his team, but might not be the case for every branch up and down the country. So it's quite tightly controlled at the minute to make sure that we get this as right as possible, and we can learn from the account as it grows. Now, remember, guys, as I said at the beginning, this is a brand new large account for us, and we're going to have teething problems. We've had teething problems with every large account we've ever onboarded. But it's really, from our point of view, about how each supplier, each partner responds to those, and how we can learn from that and adapt. Which is why we've got Rich on here tonight. And yeah, very, very glad to have you. We can see your slides. I can confirm.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to LNPG. We're really excited to come on board. What we'd really like is, we'd like to grow with your membership so we can develop our offering to you. It's not just about, us putting a load of prices to you and selling you a load of products. If we can develop further on and bring more products into the portfolio, all the better for everyone, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, Richard.
Yeah, so just a little bit about Rexel. I don't know how much your members would know about.
Before you start, Richard, can we put the slides up so that it's full screen? Yeah.
2 seconds.
So they can hear you, but they won't be able to see you.
2 seconds.
It's the top left. Oh, there you go.
We got it.
We're good.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, so I was saying, I don't know how much your members would know about Rexel or where we came from, who owns us, how much business we do, or anything like that. So just a little cap. We're French owned. We do 14.7 billion euros worldwide, 635 trading customers worldwide in 24 different countries. In the UK, you were talking 218 plus branches. Your members may well know more of us as trading names such as Nuianair or WF Senate or Wilkes Electrical, maybe. They used to be the old banners, if you like. But now we move on and Rexel brought us, and here we are today. So for your members, we've kind of, as you discussed earlier, we've created this central hub in Leicester. So it's account management through Leicester. The people you see on the screen are the people your members will speak to daily, weekly, monthly, with the process you've already set out to them being call 0116 285 5555, LNPG at rexel.co.uk. We have a team of 4 in the sales office here, including myself. And then overseeing would be Dave Knowles, National Account Manager. Dave unfortunately couldn't make it with us tonight. But to be fair, Dave probably wouldn't get involved with your members as such. It'd probably be the 4 guys at the top, including myself.
Well, you're the important guys at the coalface that are going to be dealing with members on a day-to-day basis. So that is
absolutely,
it's not necessarily a bad thing that Dave couldn't make it tonight, because we get to hear kind of straight from the horse's mouth here. So
yeah,
just to clarify here, because we have already had, since we launched, members calling their local branch, whether they know Rexel or not, or they've just Googled Rexel nearby. The fact that they're going into the Leicester branch, your branch there, is it the case that they can just simply pick up the phone and speak to anyone? Does it have to be yourself, Ian, Ash, or David, or is anyone going to be able to deal with that inquiry?
Well, anyone in our central hub here, they're the only 4 people that are there. So if they pick the phone up, one of them 4 people will answer for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was a few more people when I went in.
We've got some distribution guys out the back.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of the guys that you've probably seen will probably work in distribution out the back as well.
Okay. And the members therefore can be pretty confident that they're getting the right price, the right service, everything else. If a price through you guys isn't adding up, then that's something that you're going to have to take away, and we're going to have to take away and take a look at.
Yes.
If it's not adding up from a branch elsewhere, well, it could be a variety of reasons.
Yeah, and I think that's why one of the reasons why we've created this central location, if you like, so we can kind of eke out all them issues.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just moving on to Rexel UK, if you like, 2,000 plus colleagues, 90 years in the industry as a wholesaler, 18,000 years of experience for the people that are in the business already. So I think your members can be kind of trusted that they're going to get a wealth of knowledge, whether they get through to us or if further down the line they start talking to the local branch when we've set things up, they're going to get a wealth of knowledge from there. In terms of delivery and service, what your members will get is if they order a product pre-12 o'clock, they will get that delivery, if in stock, the same day. If they order pre-5 o'clock, they will get delivery the next day.
And is that a paid delivery, particularly the same day?
That's a free delivery from stocked items.
Okay, and typically how many items are stocked as a percentage?
I mean, we're talking £100 million worth of stock within the business.
Okay,
that's UK wide. I'm talking £400,000 worth of stock in my business here in Leicester.
mm-hmm.
I have got access to £1.5 million worth of stock overnight.
But just because they're ordering through you, that you're not presumably delivering if they're down in Southampton. It's based on what's in that Southampton branch.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yeah.
And is that consistent throughout every branch then?
Yeah, correct. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, my stock holding here in Leicester would be of similar ilk to somebody in Southampton, somebody in Ayr, somebody in Durham, you name it. It'll be very similar. And obviously our core stock is very similar also.
Mm-hmm.
Your members can order online. We've not quite got to that part yet, have we? We're still working on that.
Yeah, it was one of the questions that came up when we initially launched, and if you forgive me not giving you eye contact at the minute, because I'm trying to find exactly what those were. But one of them was definitely the are we going to get online? Now, online for me is always something I'm nervous about because I don't like taking out the human element of someone who's able to spot check and just immediately instinctively know something's gone wrong here. Let's figure this one out. With the online, it's not so easy to do that. But I know that Rexel, and one of the reasons that we spoke to you initially was actually that your online kind of e-commerce business is really quite easy to use and it's really quite hard to get wrong. We're just not there yet because we need individual accounts for members to use, which are linked to a mother account.
Correct. And that is, again, something we're very good at. So when that point comes, linking them accounts will be quite simple for us.
Yeah, of course. Well, as simple as linking 5,500 accounts ever can be.
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. It's a long process, but we manage that very well. We do it all the time with various different customers.
Of course. For now, at least, let's see if we can't get some member interest, get some sales through the account, and start to find out what the core range looks like for an LNPG member.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So talking about core ranges, those who will know Rexel know we offer a brand called Nulek. It's our brand, but it's not a manufactured business. Nulek is not a manufactured product. Nulek is a product that's manufactured by people like you can see on the screen, Schneider, Hager, KSR, Eaton, Skolmore, all these reputable kind of guys in the marketplace.
Mm.
So we always find that the Nulek product gets undersold a little bit because they think it's a cheap version of something.
So what do you mean by undersold? Sorry.
As in that people think it should be at a lower price pointed than it actually is.
Okay.
Because they're thinking it's a low end budget product because it's called Nulek.
Because it's white label, it could come from anywhere.
Yes, correct. And in reality, it's coming from some of the most reputable businesses in the UK electrical manufacturing pot.
Okay.
I don't know whether your members have any questions on products or brands that we sell. Does anything come up?
Well, look, as and when we go through, I'll jump in with some of the questions because we've got a couple on Facebook already, as I mentioned. But as we get them into the chat as well, I'll jump on with those ones as well, Rich.
Okay, perfect. No problem.
But it's interesting actually. So we actually spoke about Nulek, oh God, only a couple of days ago when we were talking about this webinar. And I didn't understand at the point that it was actually a white label product. I thought you were saying that you guys sold it, but not a lot of the market had bitten into it. It's similar actually to our bathroom suites. We work with Wolseley and they've got a bathroom suite called Nabis. Now there's no such manufacturer as Nabis. The manufacturers behind Nabis, it's a white label product, are the likes of Bristan, Rocker, Ideal Standard. Again, top manufacturers, but just in the bathrooms industry instead. So the warranties and the product quality that we've got with that product, we've got a very good price point with them. We've got a lot of control over what the price is because effectively they're the manufacturer in a way. But we're not compromising on quality and putting in things that really, with sanitary ware, you know that it's going to break because it will snap on the way to the house.
Yeah, I bought a Nibas waterfall shower, which was 137 quid through COVID. It's not 137 pound now, but it's identical to the Bristan shower.
Yeah.
And that's like 230, I don't know what price, but it's over 200 pound, well over 200 pound. And the only difference is it's not made cheaper, it's made with the same product. And the only thing difference between mine and the Bristan span is the stamp that says Bristan on it. It's the only difference.
Correct. And that's exactly what we're saying here. It's our twin socket would be a Schneider twin socket. It's not a Nulek twin socket. It's just got a different badge on the box, if you like.
So in terms of warranties, guarantees, that kind of thing, where are you positioned if this is kind of top manufacturers? You've got the same kind of warranties as you would there versus some of the cheaper products that you'd get in the likes of the DIY sheds?
Correct, absolutely. So in terms of lighting, for instance, most of our manufactured products are 5 to 10 year warranties.
Okay, and that's industry standard?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, and just looking over some of our product categories that we do, some of them you're going to expect, absolutely. Cable management, switches, sockets, consumer units, lighting. A few that you may not know that we're into, solar PV. We're probably one of the only wholesalers in the country at the moment that have carrying stock out of a dedicated ware of solar PV. And also PPE and workwear. There was a company called Parker's, who was a PPE company owned by Rexel. And we have a dedicated warehouse up north that solely distributes our PPE equipment for us.
Yeah, I think with the solar in particular, if you just go back one slide, these categories are really kind of why we joined you, of course, to get that within the membership framework. But we've been surprised already in the office by how many times we're referring members over to you. I think so. We had one this morning. Oh God, I can't even remember what it was. But we've had things like humidifiers, and it really is a really general range of products that you've got. It's thousands upon thousands of SKUs. Now, not everything is going to be priced independently for LNPG beforehand. But I think that's something that we can get around to. It's just kind of getting a feel for, okay, what are we actually putting in? With the solar PV, we struggled for a long time with actually being able to refer members anywhere that had solar, because we did have one partner, but they didn't have the, I think it's an inverter, and they didn't have the batteries. But with your energy solutions, as you're calling it there, it's not just the panel, is it? It's the whole thing.
It's everything. It's the inverter, it's the battery storage, it's the DC isolator to go with it, it's the framework to mount on your roof.
So really an end-to-end kind of solution there. Another one that I just want to pick up on as well is cables, because when we met a few weeks ago at the Rexel office, you mentioned cables. The pricing for cables at the minute and pretty much historically is up and down all the time. So one of the points that we discussed was, you said, look, I can't give you this is the price for this cable at any point, because that will change day to day, hour to hour, and we'll be forever going back on our word and giving either a better price or a worse price than we did 5 minutes ago. But what you did mention is that you said, okay, what we'll have to do here is we will work to the minimum margin that we work with for anyone, to ensure that we're giving your members the best price we can at any point. Now, from the members' perspective, I would say if you're looking to buy cabling, because how long does your quote last for, Richard?
Well, 15 days.
15 days.
Yeah.
Is there's only so much you can do running around getting quotes from here, there, and everywhere, because by the time you speak to the third person, the first person's already changed their price. Would be to get your quote in and buy it effectively as soon as possible, because you don't know how long that price is going to last for. We've had a question that's come in from Stephen here about the process to select things. So in terms of actually finding what SKUs are available, and particularly what's available through LNPG, is it a case of simply logging on to Rexel and choosing something and then phoning for the price? Stephen's interested in a pack tester in this instance.
Yeah, that is one means of going about it. He can go onto rexel.co.uk and search for what he would like, or he could just contact us directly through the telephone number or the email address, and we can offer him alternatives to his solution.
Okay.
I think. Sorry, go on, Bath.
Sorry, yeah, I just had a quick question, Rich. You see how you've got those 3 catalogs there? Would you happen to have something that, while it's not exact or very specific to landlords, something that could cater to the products that we're providing for our members through Rexel?
I wouldn't have anything specific, Bav. What I can do is I can send you our catalogs digitally. I think we discussed this the other day.
Yeah.
So that will be our generic catalogue, which will have everything in. Then we have a lighting catalogue. We have a EV catalogue. We're working on a solar PV catalogue as we speak. The problem with that is that the market is changing products all the time. So we've got to try and get it right where we've got a core range of products that we know we're going to get hold of all the time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can send you more digitally, but I don't have anything as we speak specifically for the landlord industry.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. So what I can do is then at least have these on the partner page, so landlords can take a look, and then depending on what they want, they can just ring up or email in. I
mean, if you wanted manufacturers' catalogs as well, I could probably get them.
Good help.
We can go as wide or as little as you like.
Don't go too wide, because it will really confuse people. Just have your catalogs on there.
Yeah.
And then members can ring you from that catalogue.
Perfect.
They don't have prices in that catalogue, do they?
No.
The reason why, because Oh, good, because people go, God, that's expensive, but that's normally just a shelf edge price.
Yeah, and I think we're finding a little bit, and this is kind of my little bit of feedback to everyone on, and people can tell me if it's different. People are going online, as in members are going online and setting up maybe their own accounts, and they're seeing a price, and then they're coming to us and going, oh, it's 50 quid. Well, no, it's not, because it's not linked to your discounts at the moment.
It's interesting that you say that. We always knew that members would go and check the price, and they're in their rights to do so. But I actually find that quite encouraging, Richard, because you're saying that they're checking it and then they're giving you a call and saying, hold on, what's going on with this price? So at least you can have that conversation.
Correct, yeah.
Like I said, this is a new account. They're not going to set up for 5,500 accounts. So that's why we put this in place. As the account grows, just like it has with Wolseley, Magnet, Johnston's, is that as things develop, we'll move the account on.
Yeah. And similarly, as the prices solidify, we'll be able to have a price list on the LNPG website as well. So we'll have kind of a core range there as well. Roger's written here that he's really interested in solar and battery storage. The job is to see what's offered in these packages that you mentioned, Richard. So is there anywhere specifically to view that? You mentioned that the catalogue is kind of a work in progress, but does this information exist on the website?
It doesn't exist on the website, but I have got a Excel spreadsheet that I can send him. It's just got products on there, so he'll have to decipher through the products and then maybe give us a call and we can talk through it.
Yeah, I think it's worth having a conversation even before the spreadsheet to kind of recommend, okay, what is it that you're looking for? Try this, try that, try the other, and then it's an ongoing conversation kind of thing.
No, we did have a spreadsheet of pricing for solar when we first kind of got involved with it, but that's expired. It's, the products have changed, the price has gone up, so we ditched that quite early on because we knew that it was going to evolve so much that we wouldn't be able to keep up with it.
How long have you been involved with solar? If you mentioned that it's not on the website yet, you've sort of overhauling the catalogue. Probably
this year, Anthony, to be honest. We just, within the last couple of months, we've got a dedicated warehouse in Peterborough that started putting all the stock into.
Okay. And
we are, as we speak, currently making space in Leicester for stock as well.
Mm-hmm. So how has that gone in terms of a new product category? Have you had any large contract wins based on that? And what percentage of your business are you putting through?
Very much so. Very much so. Branches are seeing probably a 10% increase on volume.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So it's it's gone particularly well. I think, especially with electricity prices going up, etc. People are always looking to save a little bit of money.
You've muted yourself there, Rich. I don't quite know how you've done it.
No, I don't know how I did that, to be fair.
All right, no problem. You were saying that people are always looking to save a little bit of money.
Yeah, with the electricity prices going up, I think people are looking to save a bit of money. And if it means they've got 2 or 3 grand sat in the bank to put a solar system on the roof, in the long run, it's going to save them a little bit of money.
Oh, definitely.
You mentioned that you can send out an Excel with the solar products on. Is there anywhere members can have a look at the product specs for these items?
At the moment, Tracy, I don't believe a lot of the products have been loaded onto the web page yet.
But is there information on the manufacturer's websites, for instance?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The spreadsheet I've got will give them part numbers and manufacturers. Okay. So they will be able to check it out.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks. Let's move on. We've been staring at these product categories for a little while now. Don't want to hold you up too much.
Again, next slide's more solar and EV charging. We've seen a big scope in EV charging over the last 2 years. Again, we deal with all the reputable guys. Your members will probably know some of them: Zappy, Rolex, Podpoint, Easy, all stocked within Rexel. So it's not a back-to-back product. It's not a product we're going to be charging delivery on. It's a product off the shelf, which will be delivered in a Rexel vehicle. Just a little bit about our services we offer. In branch, not every branch, there's a scattering of branches that you'll see these lockers in. So lockers on the left-hand side here.
The blue thing.
Yeah, the blue thing, the Amazon lockers, yeah. So they're available 24/7. So if your member rings up at any point during the day and they want a collection where lockers are available when they can't get to the branch before closing, the branch can put it in a locker, give them a dedicated code, and they'll be able to pick their goods up as and when they see fit.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that, and I thought it's such a genius thing, because one of the issues that I'm sure your installers have as much as we hear from landlords is delivery based. If they're away from the property, if the property is effectively a building site, then you can't always be there to accept the delivery, or if the delivery is late by a day or doesn't get there in time. There's so many different things that has knock-on effect if you've got builders waiting, for instance. But with these lockers, you can literally nip over to the branch and pick it up as soon as it's available, or hold off for 6 hours and pick it up 6 hours later. You don't have to be there immediately in the moment. And one of the things that you mentioned to me, I believe, when we first met at the Leicester branch, was that a lot of your customers will actually swing by, if they're going from, let's say, Northampton up to Leeds, they'll swing by Leicester to pick something up from your locker, and then they carry on the journey. So they can kind of do it on the way for wherever it's locker gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Just moving on to deliveries as well, and you talked about people not being in and all the rest of it. We actually run on our delivery system a system called Podfather, which would give your members a text or an email alert with an hour delivery slot.
Okay, is that automated?
Yes.
Brilliant.
It's automated in the aspect of, if we put the information into the system, if your member asks for it, or we have a conversation with your member and say, we can offer you this alert, and we put the information into the system, then it will happen, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I was just thinking, the reason for the automated question is, if we're relying on a driver to do it or not do it, there's going to be times where it's forgotten.
No, it's a system thing. Yeah, it's not a manual. Somebody's got to text the number. It's a manual. It's an automated system.
Okay, brilliant.
We also have dedicated lighting designers within Rexel. So if your members do need, say if they're doing a commercial building or they need a design on something, we have dedicated lighting engineers that are Rexel employees.
Okay.
And what else? If any of your members, I don't know whether there would be or not, if they're NIC, EIC registered, some of them may be, they can, if they have an account with us, they can use their account to have the NIC, EIC training courses against their account.
Okay, I would be surprised if there will be some, of course, yes. But yeah. I would be surprised if it's many.
No, but it's an option there for your members to know that it's there for them if required.
Yeah, of course.
Again, just a bit more on PPE. I mentioned Parkers earlier, but just to make your members aware, it's kind of the whole route of PPE, from your boots up into your kettle and your tea bags. They can.
It's literally down kettle to PPE.
Yeah, it's literally down to the nuts and bolts of site equipment. So they can buy the coffee, the sugar, the teas, the kettles, the microwaves, anything they think of.
Brilliant. Well, we used to have a contract pricing on a can of Coke through Juicend after a member bought one once and it got automatically added. But now we've got tea bags as well. We're really moving into
moving forward
the market here.
Just something new for you guys. I think we mentioned it when we met last time, didn't we, Anthony? In 2023, the end of Q1, we've built a customized distribution center for Rexel. So this will service the whole country. So we think we've got a good offer in a minute with same day, next day, but this will open up doors for full and incomplete orders. So, you know, the odd bit that we may not have and we've got to ship it in, this will take that away and we'll be able to fulfill most orders 100% every time.
Yeah, from our point of view, this is the benefits of going with national suppliers right here. Not just the coverage and the resources you've got already, but how many companies would have the resources to build something like this, let alone build it to net zero carbon and everything else to improve delivery times.
Yeah, it's 184 square feet. You can say it was out of the ground middle of last year. We're looking to start shipping product Q1 next year. I think we're doing some test shipping at the moment. It's an automated warehouse as well. So it's robots doing all the work for us with a manual QC at the end.
Wow.
Members will be able to order way past branch closing times. So we're talking 7, 8 o'clock cut-offs, whereas normally it'll be 5 o'clock and then the phone won't be answered.
And so, or let's say we order at 6:59 p.m. What changes once this is open versus right now?
6:59 p.m. Depending on where the product's shipped from, it might not get to the branch that needs to deliver it. 6:59 ordered through the distribution center, it will be at the branch that needs to deliver it the next morning.
Okay, because it's all automated.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, that's probably something, it's not a bad thing for us that this is a slightly down the road, something to look forward to from our point of view, but also if we're talking about ordering outside of branch opening times, this is something that we're going to have to rely on the website for, which we'll get access to in hopefully around the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very excited about it. I think it's going to be a bit of a game changer to our service levels, which we already think are good. And hopefully the 20 or so members that have used us so far think the same. I don't know whether we have any on tonight that have used us or not, if they've got any feedback. But we think it's really good at the moment, but this is going to be the next level for us, I think.
Sure.
And just to finish, accreditations, the business is rolled to a bit boring kind of stuff, to be honest, but know that you're dealing with a business that do have these kind of levels of qualifications. Always gives somebody a bit of comfort. And lastly, just the process, really. Just the process that we've kind of come to. The members are ringing the number or emailing lnpg@rexel.co.uk, knowing you're going to come through to the 4 people that we put on the page at the start. Hopefully they'll get the service they require.
Of course, yeah, it's really important for us that when a member says I'm with LNPG, that the person on the other side of the phone understands what that means, rather than just going, okay, good for you, and moves on and treats them like a regular customer. Not that we should be treated like regular customers, but that we should get our pricing correct. We've got a couple of questions that have kind of rolled in as you've been speaking, Reg. One thing that Roger's mentioned, and it's a really good point, actually, you were talking about the solar PV earlier on, and some of the reasons that customers are looking to it. Well, there's a huge one for landlords, which you may or may not be aware of, which is a necessity to raise EPC ratings from E's and D's to C by, I believe, 2025. Now, this is creating huge pressure on landlords to improve the state of insulation in their properties, in ventilation in their properties, but also look towards alternative energy sources as well. So we're talking solar, we're talking battery walls, and I think you've got EV chargers as well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But it's just to mention really how important that is. So I think that's something that would really be a great boon to the account, providing we can get that right. And we'd love to get some feedback from the members that do inquire about that.
Absolutely.
Gregor's here asked, can you confirm where the products come from? Now, I'm not sure if that's in reference to Nulec or the other products that you've got.
I mean, how long's a bit of string, that one. Depending on what he's referring to, really. I mean, we can point him in the direction of hundreds of different suppliers we use, from Schneider, Hager, Skolmore. So, I mean, if he wants to drop us a message and ask specifically what category of products, or we can certainly point him in that direction.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. One question that I've got, and Nick alluded to this at the beginning, which is Rexel, even the cheapest products that you guys sell, because you're a kind of a professional trade merchant, you're never going to delve into the real bottom end of the market of to products that simply don't work or not worth the kind of material they're made out of, really. How can members see the difference in a like-for-like product? If a member hits you with well, I can get this plug socket for this price elsewhere, how is it possible to know the difference between what you're selling and what, for instance, the DIY sheds are selling?
Well, I think that comes with a wealth of experience, the guys that work in our business that can add. So that they would know that, say, if somebody's talking about a certain twin socket that somebody sells.
I'm glad you just said that. So let's take the bottom end of the market. What do they call it? Is it DBG, GDB from Screwfix? What do they call it?
Yeah, GB, I think, is it?
GB.
Or you got CPD or you got BG.
Yeah, that's it. BG.
Yeah.
BG.
Yeah.
Because that's where we get compared from. And they say, well, I don't know the price, but let's say that's £1.
Yeah.
And the real McCoy product, a trade product, is £1.50, £1.80. Yeah. I look at the socket. I'm not an electrician. I'm a carpenter. Yeah. And I can look at a bit of timber and I can grade that within a couple of minutes. Yeah. Because it's not per inches, etc., etc. But when I look at electric socket and I go, I look the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's just put up there. Yeah. British General rubbish. But honestly, I look at it and I think, oh, freaking same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
But what you won't know is that, say something like that, say if it's a generic twin socket, then you get a Skolmore twin socket, for instance.
Yeah.
It's antibacterial, so it's chemical free. So to touch it, it's germ free. It keep the germs off the socket. So yeah, nobody knows.
But I'm talking about a socket for socket. Yeah, one's £1, and it looks well. I don't even know if it looks cheap because I haven't even been in there. But councils don't even use that brand. Yes, because they've learnt. But yep. I've know people that have used that brand and it's burnt out. It's like sparking.
Yeah.
What makes that cheap to a good quality brand? I have got no experience.
Most of the time, it's the terminals and the components they use in the back. So it's not the bit that you're looking at. It's not the socket front you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's the bit on the back. So it's the unit on the back. They're using terminals that don't screw up properly. I mean, MK have even brought out now a twin socket, which has got release buttons on the back, so you don't have to screw it. You can flick a point down and it'll just clamp the cables. So you've not even got to use a screwdriver.
Oh, right. Okay. But is there a big difference between, because the one, when people say to me, oh, I buy from Screwfix, and I swear it's a retail, it's the bottom end of the market, but I've got no understanding of that. One of the things that we've been really hard, and members do, is in this marketplace, in the electrical marketplace. We've always struggled in this marketplace. And I'm trying to understand and trying to educate landlords and trying to help them understand. And I have no understanding. I've always shied away from electrics. What is the difference between cheap cabling to more quality cabling? Because people just see a cable.
Yeah, well, the cabling thing's all in how much powder and what kind of powder they use in the cable. Because when a contractor comes stripping it along, it'll be harder for them to strip with no powder in there than, I say, a Prismium cable that's got loads of powder in there and it just slides open. So that's then going to save them time.
Yes, but is like the current, because I've been into houses that are 25 years old and you 20 years old, 15 years old, and you start to see the cabling. What's the word I'm looking for? It starts to go powdery. It starts and then you get
brittle. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a quality in that kind of the cheap end and the more expensive end?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So a Prismium to a generic cable manufacturer, it could be from anywhere. Portugal seem to send a lot of cables to the UK, to be honest. You're going to see a big difference in that.
Okay. So is there anywhere where we can maybe highlight the cheap end to the more expensive end, and why there is not actually in showing the products, but because Screwfix are up the wall, but to say, look, you need to keep away from these brands because of the reasons why. This is the middle of the road. I'm not asking members or recommending members go for the top end, but there must be a middle road where people can see the benefits of one brand against another. Or am I just putting at straws here?
Well, I mean, it's a difficult one for us to answer that, because we, like you said earlier, we wouldn't go down that route of having the cheap kind of cable or socket. We'll always be kind of positioned ourselves in that middle ground and then at the high end for a different set of customers, if you like. So it's difficult for us to say that because we wouldn't be down at the bottom end, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, people are commenting on here. I know nothing about electrics. There's one area, paint, boilers, plumbing, timber. I've got
in the back.
Electrical. I've always stayed away from that, and I'm trying to understand it. Yes, and if I don't understand it, and I'm in the building trade, it's really hard for members. And what I say to people is that, do you see tradesmen buying that kind of product? That's my backstop, because I don't know what the difference is.
I think it would be worth, you mentioned earlier on, Rich, about Newlec being built to a decent specification, rather than, you know, shipping over from the Far East or wherever it is. So kind of drilling into, okay, what is that specification and why is it that needs to be provided by these expensive manufacturers at a higher cost than the cheaper manufacturers? So for instance, Craig's put in the chat here about cables AWG comparison. It says copper content is cut back in cheaper cables. Naturally, copper is expensive as a raw material, but it's also required for consistent conductivity. Now, as someone that knows absolutely nothing about anything, that makes sense to me. Okay, straight away, copper content is more expensive, but they need more of it for
a premium brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's little bits like that to which again, we're kind of putting you under a bit of pressure here, but I feel that with your experience that you're going to be on the end of the phone to members, and you're going to naturally explain this kind of things to them anyway. Oh, you don't want that, you want this because X. We're just kind of grasping around in the dark of what we're even talking about. Like,
No, and you're absolutely right. The one thing we have no in inside LNPG any experience on that, and that's why we've always fallen short on the electrical side, because we shy away from it because we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but boilers and copper and radiators, yeah. I mean, Screwfix said a Stelrad cheap radiator. It comes in from Turkey. It's not the name brand stand Stelrad that's made in the UK, but they've named it the same. Now I know that, and it's about the valves, the way that if the valves aren't correctly threaded correctly, and the way that they're made in Turkey, you can suddenly get, and you wouldn't even know this leakage of air.
Pinhole leaks,
and it drops the pressure of the boiler. We know all that because me being in the building trade, but I know absolutely nothing about electrical. Nothing. I couldn't tell you if one hit me over the head. You called it MK.
Yep.
Branding. I wouldn't know the difference if you showed me an MK branded and a GB.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't have a clue. And so it's hard for us to help members. So we're just going to be chucking them at you.
Yeah, and absolutely. My team, that's what my team are here for. I mean, in terms of, say, a BG socket to an MK socket, if you put it in front of one of my guys, they'd know that instantly. They'd just go, that's that. That's anti-biological. That's not. That's got release terminals on the back. That's screwed, and the terminals shoot after about a month.
Okay, good.
Same as lighting, to be honest with you. You get lighting and people always go, oh, I want the higher wattage. Well, do you want the higher wattage? Because the higher wattage doesn't always give you the most lumen output, so it's not as bright. So then lamps behind you, Nick, they could be a 5-watt lamp and give out 300 lumen. I could probably offer you a 3-watt lamp and get you 450 lumen. Which one's the brightest? It's the one with the high lumen output.
You threw too many numbers at him there, Rick.
You did. You threw. Again, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what I'm glad that Nick's brought up, because this is exactly what we're looking for with an LNPG partner. We need to take your experience and your team's experience and Rexel in general's experience and kind of plug that into LNPG. It's going to take a little bit of time. We can't expect to do it overnight. But these little bits of info about the cabling, about the lumens, about everything else, that we can kind of stand by, and our members can stand by and say to their electrician, and I think an electrician is going to agree with them most of the time, to be honest, but spend X amount rather than Y amount, but realize the reason for doing that. Now we're bringing good quality products down into realms of affordability, rather than trying to go for a quick win where they're putting in a load of crap and then a year later it all needs to be replaced, because we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot. We know that you've got fantastic quality products. We know that we're getting good pricing through you as well. And in fact, even in the chat right now, as we've been talking, Roger's mentioned that the tradesmen that he uses refuse to use the low grade stuff, even supplied by our previous supplier, as they've got to warranty their work through the EIC. So they get their electricians to go through Rexel anyway. Well, fantastic for him. We've just partnered with you guys. Hugh's mentioned that he's qualified but not a practicing electrician. And the best way that he would explain it is that it must pass the British standard specification to be sold. Buy cheap, buy twice. It all kind of adds up. It's just getting those tiny little differences which we can do for plumbing and heating, we can do for carpentry, we can do for kitchens, and we have done for years, we can do for paint. It's just learning what those little technical differences are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we've struggled on the electrical side.
Well, look, Nick, as someone who came in with no experience of anything apart from showers, I struggled with everything. So all I can say is that we will get there and we will be able to learn.
Yeah. And I mean, the last company we had, his argument was we can't sell at the prices that Screwfix sold at. But I said, but what's the difference in quality? And I got more confused. I wish I hadn't even answered the question. Yeah. So I would say to people, if you want cabling, go to Screwfix, because I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if it's good quality or bad quality. And my electrician says, I don't use Screwfix products. Why? Well, I just don't. Nobody's actually given us
A reason.
that information to tell us why.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge for you, Richard.
Yeah. No, look, we're here. We want to learn. We're willing to learn with you and your members. So, you know,
Would help you just said that.
more information that we can get together, the better for me.
Yeah, and it's just a learning curve on the electrical side, because we don't understand. I mean, it's like the circuit boards. Yeah. You speak to one member, or you speak to one electrician, or 4 or 5 electricians. They said, "Oh, don't use that one. Use this one." Even the government said, "Use plastic, metal, then plastic." Now we're back to metal, aren't we?
We are metal, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, if they can't get it right, how the heck are we going to get it right? What's a good, fuse board? People say, "Oh, you want to use this one over this one." Why? Well, it's just better quality. Yeah, but why? Does it have least breakdowns, or it's not like a boiler? Yeah. You look at a socket, or the wires go in, you flick the switch and the power comes on. But why is that one better than that one? And nobody's been able to tell me this.
Well, maybe we can, maybe a bit further down the line, we can get some of these suppliers together, and we can have a bit of a sit down, or maybe even a session like this. Where we can talk,
that would be really good.
We can talk through these things.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Because we want to build a long-term relationship with you. And if you've not noticed that we kind of shy away from the electrical side, and if we can get some of the manufacturers to explain to us why that's better than that, why that's better than that, we're giving them information, and we're educating the landlord market not to buy cheap, because nobody's ever given them this information before.
We absolutely, we can do that. We can get all sorts of people, and we get ACO from the smoke alarm kind of sector. You know, they're brand leading smoke alarm people, and they can come on and tell you all the regulations that you want to hear, and tell you why their product's as good as the next product. We can set as many of them up as you like.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Me and Anthony went into a meeting about this new regulations about airflow into a property and airflow out.
Yeah.
Me and him looked at each other and said, "Did you understand a word of that?" And I went, "No."
Look, we've got a bit of a clarification from an earlier question, by the way, which was Gregor's question about where do your products come from. Now, specifically, he was referring to your solar panels, because some apparently come from China, and there's not a proper customer service or escalation tree, I guess, but others are from Europe or from the UK, in fact. So
yeah, we have suppliers. We have suppliers from both.
Okay.
We have suppliers from both, but I mean, as far as your members are concerned, the escalation process would come through Rexel, because that's where they're buying it from.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we have suppliers: Freener Solar, Sunsing, Van der Valk, you know, all people from all over the globe, really.
And again, this is going to be another thing where we'll be looking at, from our point of view, layman's point of view, 5 or 6 different panels that look exactly the same, perhaps, but are at different price points. And it's just understanding why they are where they are.
Yeah, and where we need to pitch ourselves.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Rich, there's a bit of a specific question that's come through from Roger. I just realized Ant was jumping in as well, but
No, look, Bab, I'm happy for you to take this one because I don't understand it. Go for it.
So I'm guessing this is more specific in terms of lighting side of things. He's making a very valid point where he's saying that ultimately it does come down to saving tenants money as well. So LEDs vastly differ in power usage compared to like halogen bulbs and stuff. So is there any way we could get, or if Rexel has any more information, like a chart or anything that we could put on our webpage to indicate the differences?
As in difference from the old halogen lamp to an LED lamp? Is that what we're saying?
Like in terms of power consumption and how that works in terms of saving money for the tenants as well.
I don't have anything specific for Rexel, but I'm sure one of our suppliers will have something.
As I read it, actually, Bab, I'm wondering if this question is more about the difference between LEDs, so just within the LED kind of range. So in terms of the wattage, the lumens, the output, whatever it is there a difference there, Rich, between the same? He's saying yes, I've got it right. Even though they're all LED bulbs, in again, my opinion, I would think an LED is an LED and it uses what it uses.
Yeah, but like we discussed earlier, you know, we could probably get a GU10 lamp that goes in your downlight in the kitchen, and it could be rated at 5 or 6 watts, or we could offer you a lamp that's 3.5, 4 watts, and it'll be brighter than the high wattage lamp. So everyone's looking at it and going, well, that's 6 watt and that's 4 watt. How's that brighter than that? And it's the chip component in the LED that makes it brighter.
But is that using more energy than the higher wattage one, or is it the other way around?
It's using less wattage, yeah. It's using less energy.
So it's using less energy but providing more light.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, we're gonna need a chart. We're gonna need a chart for the chart at this rate.
I'll see what I can find.
But this is important as well. Obviously, Roger's mentioned it's about saving the tenants money, which of course is important. But we also have a huge amount of HMOs in the membership as well, and HMOs, for the most part, the landlord themselves will be paying the energy bill. So there's an even more immediate impact as well there.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, look, I think we've put you through your paces enough tonight, and you've got a fair bit of homework to do, and we do as well. So I look forward to that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, though, Rich. It's been great to have you, and fantastic to get Rexel on board.
We're really excited.
Before we talk about next week, actually, Nick, do you want to say anything?
No, thank you very much, Richard. You can just see from the lack of our experience, we're going to need help, and you hold our hand because we have no experience in this. But honestly, thanks very much for partnering with LNPG, and we really do look forward to growing the account, but also in you educating and help us, because in the first couple of years you're going to get a lot of members asking a lot of questions because we just don't understand.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we're like I said earlier, we're really excited to get started. So sooner we can start helping your members, the better.
Good.
Okay, brilliant. And by the way, thank you for the work that you've put in before just getting this thing off the ground, because we know it was an awful lot of hard work. And
Tracy did a lot of work as well with Richard.
Of course, take a bow, Richard.
Yeah.
So next week will be our final webinar for 2022 and the final webinar for this series. And who else could we get on board for this final one but Magnet themselves? It's going to be in 2 days. I'm going to be wearing my party hat because it's going to be our 1 year anniversary since the last time we had them on the webinar. So they've got a year's worth of content to talk about. We've massively changed the way that we work with Magnet. And it's hugely improved, actually, the processes and the way that the members are being looked after as well. We used to have several kind of blind spots or several kind of troublesome areas, and we would always have to have a workaround. We would always get the problem solved in the end, but we're seeing that less and less and less, and it's a huge thank you to Magnet for the way that they've improved the account. It was something that I myself didn't believe would work when they first pitched it, but this is one that I'm quite happy to put my hands up and say this has gone really well. So we're going to have Jill Davis, our account manager from Magnet, as well as Aaron Turner, who's one of the regional CSMs as well that we work with quite closely now. And they're going to be talking about their new ranges for 2023, the upcoming kitchen trends, as well as where they see generally what the landlord market's going to look like. They're our oldest and biggest partner, and we're coming into a year that I think no one can really predict, but all we can do is give it our best guess and keep on kind of plowing forward together. So we look forward to that very much next week. Join us then for the final one of the year. Until then, thank you for joining us.